So today I'm going to be talking to you about my ecological footprint, why it's important to society to learn about our ecological footprint, and why we did this activity as a whole, and ways to minimize our ecological footprint. So in here I stated that ecological footprint is the impact of a person or community on the environment expressed as the amount of land required to sustain their use of natural resources. My personal ecological footprint will require 3.1 Earths if everyone lived like I did, which at first I thought that was absolutely insanely high, but turns out I had around the lowest in the class. So although that made me feel slightly better, it still wasn't great. We definitely don't have 3.1 Earths for everyone to live on, so I definitely do need to be more cautious. But I have, my ecological footprint was a 5 GHA, and then my carbon footprint was 8.6, and then my carbon emissions was a 59. Now, out of that 5, food took up around 1.5. Now, I thought that that would be way higher than it is, but then I took into consideration that I definitely don't eat a lot of dairy. I try not to. It's bad for me personally. I eat things like cashew milk or oat milk to counteract it. But yeah, even drinks and stuff, not really. I definitely do eat cheese most of the time. I try to cut it out. And then, but I do eat meat, which I think comes in, which made it rise more, which is why it's my highest thing out of everything. But in mobility, it was also a 1.5, which I only live around 30 seconds away from the high school, so I definitely don't use really any gas at all getting to school. But I live way far away from my dance studio, which I go to like every day, which is around 13 miles. It's like, it takes me 20 minutes to get there. I definitely go a lot, which I think comes in to my 1.5, which I thought was very interesting that it was the same amount as my food. But yeah, my services was only 0.8, and the goods was a 0.9. And then coming in at 0.3 was shelter, which I also thought was very surprising because I am home a lot. I don't watch a lot of TV though in my room. I really don't have time for that. The only thing that I really keep on is my fish tank, because my fish river always needs to have his filter on so you can stay nice and healthy. But that's really all I use. So I thought that was pretty great, that was my lowest thing. Anyway, so our society, I said that we need to have a significant impact on our overall ecological footprint. With increasing population and advancements in technology, we're consuming more resources and producing more waste than ever before. I said also in here that we need to take accountable for our actions, and that we also need to be more aware of what we're doing so that way we can all be better in the long run. I think taking accountability in any situation is the first step to making a goal possible and succeeding at that. I even tell that in my drill team or anybody I really come in contact with, that if there's an issue like our ecological footprint and how we're hurting the environment, we're just living our lives, that okay, I need to take accountability, which really helped me by taking this quiz. I'm like, oh wow, this is what I'm doing to hurt the environment. What ways can I take that could help it? So going along with that, on ways to minimize our footprint, I started off by saying choosing local source and organic food. Now I love to go up to Uford's Farms in Pittsburgh and try their peaches and their salsas and their ice cream and all the things you can get from there. We actually go there. We've been there a couple times, and I love supporting those types of people. And it's also great for our footprint because although I do go to the grocery store like everybody else, which is not great, but I also take alternatives. That is great. Or the natural food grocery stores are really great. Or the markets that are on the other side of my church here in Hallsville. Also great. I also said on here that renewable energy initiatives are simple yet effective ways for people to lessen their ecological footprint. Personally, at my house, we do not have solar energy or hydroelectric energy or anything like that. But I do know some other people do, or even my other family members that live on the other side of Fort Worth. There is a lot of windmills up there. So I do know a lot of people that do have it. I just personally don't have it. Yeah, and then the importance of knowing of our ecological footprint. Like I said earlier, I think taking accountability is one of the first steps to us to creating a better environment, decreasing our issues. I said it creates awareness about our lifestyle choices and impacts the environment. Also encourages us to take responsibility for our actions and empowers us to make greener choices in areas such as transportation, energy consumption. And so it's all about being aware and accountable and making sustainable choices. I know in other places, we do have a bus system here. I do not personally use it, but I know like in New York, they have a subway. Maybe we should all be taking those, or public transportation, just to lessen our footprint. And now, the most importantly, our why. On here I said I'm engaged in the service owning activity to raise awareness about our actions and environment through our ecological footprint. My goal is to share practical solutions. I thought practical was a very important way because we can do these really elaborate plans, but the everyday person would not use those. So overall, I think my main goal about this presentation is that we need to be more aware and accountable of our actions and how that affects our ecological footprint. So yeah, thank you for listening, and that's all.